Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Pull from the Police Department for Prince George's County near Washington, D.C. Tonight, I'll take a behind-the-scenes look at the life and duties of an Afghan-American police officer, and I'll discuss the key role law enforcement plays in American society.
Wyce Babar, I want to welcome you to the Pull Show and thank you for taking time to speak with us.
Thank you.
I want to know when you decided you wanted to be a police officer and why.
I think long before we came to the U.S., because all my family in Afghanistan, they were all in the military and the police force and everything. We came to New York back in '79. Went to school, went to college and everything, and wanted to be a cop over there. And my mom said, no, it's too dangerous. So we moved to Virginia, and then this place was the first one that came and said, we'll hire you. So.
And you have to go through a training, right,
yeah,
once you're selected. So who trains police officers in this area?
Experienced police officers who's been on the force for 20, 30 years. Maybe they're retired. But even before you get that, you have to go through several steps to become, go into the academy. You have to take a test. You have to take a written test, an oral test, polygraph test, which is a lie detector test, and psychological test, which is about 8 hours, about 1,000 questions, and a physical test.
And how long is that training to go through the academy?
About 8 months. They teach you self-defense, how to deal with people, how to talk to people, how to approach people, the psychological training of how you detect danger. Basically, they can teach you everything, and you learn a lot, the law and the book and everything like that, but you don't really learn anything once you go on the streets. Everything is learned basically on the streets.
You mentioned physical fitness. I can tell you, work out and you have to remain physically fit. Is that an important part of the job even after you become an officer?
Oh, that's definitely. One thing that's working out is just physically it's good for you because it just releases a lot of tension. For me, I do it because this job is very stressful. So working out is one of the ways to release stress.
What kind of stress do you feel you have on this job?
It's just physical, 12 hours a day. Most of the days you see kids being raped or dead bodies or anything like that. You can't take that home with you. Because if you take that home with you every day, your family life is it's going to affect your family life.
So it's not just the physical stress, but there's
the
mental
stress. Yeah. Most suicides, officers have the highest rate of suicides in the U.S. So that's basically because of not physical, it's all mental. But if you're not physically in shape, it's going to affect you mentally.
What's it like to be a new police officer?
For me, the first day I came, I had a certain image of how police officers were in the U.S.
What was that image?
Basically what you see on TV most of the times, but it's nothing like that. It's all the stuff that you see on TV where guys run over the cars and stuff like that. It's nothing like that because first thing they teach you in the academy is safety. Your own safety first, because if you can't be safe with yourself, you won't be able to protect anybody else. So if safety is first over anything, the main thing is to go home at the end of the night to your family. But once I started working, I saw it's not the way it is on TV, but it's reality of it. Because I got hurt a couple of times, and you don't expect it because you're very fragile, and you think you put on a uniform and everybody's going to respect you. But the first time I got punched in the face was a reality check that not everybody is going to be nice to the officer. Okay.
Stay in your car. Stay in your car. Stay in your car. Thank you. When did you get into that accident? What day? No. When did you get into an accident?
Yesterday.
Yesterday you got into an accident.
Yesterday.
Where? It wasn't yesterday.
Yeah.
Guarantee it wasn't yesterday. Okay, well, you can't drive this car.
Yes.
You can't drive this car, man. You see the front of his car? You gotta check out the front of his car.
This car?
Smashed. I don't know how the hell he's driving it. The lights are not working, nothing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you can't drive the car. This is the key for the car?
Yeah.
You got an open container in the car, panic.
How long is it taking now?
Yeah, one more.
In the jail?
No, you don't go to jail. I'm not gonna lock you up.
Oh,
Just
no,
take your
going
car.
to jail?
No. Just take your car and take your license. Your license come with me.
Okay.
Take that. I could take you to jail, but I'm not gonna take you to jail. No, not right now. Maybe tomorrow, if I see you.
Basically, you have to know your area. You have to know who's the bad guys and who's the good guys. You know, you can't trust anybody out there. You can't believe anything they say. After 15 years of doing this work, we basically have an idea of who the guys are, who's the drug dealers, who's the prostitutes, who are the, you know, all the bad guys.
So it's really knowing people, not just knowing the law.
No. The law is just maybe 25% of it. It's the people that you deal with every day, because that's where your life, you know, it's going to be in their hands. Because if they want to take you out, if they want to kill you, they'll do it. They've done it to a lot of officers, where officers have been parked doing their reports, and guys have come with a shotgun and blow their brains out. That's happened a lot of times.
Have you had police officer friends or colleagues that have died?
Yeah, a few of them. When an officer dies, we wear this for 30 days. So I was wearing this, and my lieutenant said, "You got to take it off. It's 30 days." I'm like, "No, I'm going to keep it on." So he made me take it off. He's like, "After 30 days, you have to take it off," and I know that. As soon as I took it off that day, that night, an officer got killed. So after that, I have a superstition. I never take it off, and it just stays on.
So tell me about this community here. You mentioned there's a lot of foreigners. What's the dynamic here in your community?
62% black, 62.7% black, about 27% white, 7% Latin American, and the rest are all mixed Asians and everything like that.
There's a concept here in America called community policing, and it seems to be more prevalent in areas where it's poor. Are you involved in that type of program?
I mean, all police officers are community police officers. They all should be. We all should go there, talk to the communities, get to know them, because they help you out a lot. If we had a shooting here a couple of months ago, and a lot of the officers went, detectives, they couldn't find anything. I basically stumbled on, I know this older lady, black lady, she came to me and she's like, "You know, I saw that guy who shot the guy," just because I had a previous experience with her and we had a good experience. So she basically told me who shot the guy, and I passed it on to detectives, and still not, they haven't found the guy yet, but they know who did it. So it depends how you deal with the community.
Stop it. I usually joke with the community a lot, actually. Anybody I talk to, they just they don't expect it, because usually officers are very serious and they're distant from, you know, the people. But if you make some jokes and have a little sense of humor with them, then you can get a lot of good information whenever you talk to people. People love to talk. Everybody loves to talk. So the more you get them talking, the more they'll tell you about the neighborhood and who's doing what.
A lot of times, if you get into a fight, and if you're good with the people, they might come and help you if you're alone, if there's other officers are not around. That's happened before too. But if the community doesn't like you, they're not going to come help you at all.
I'll learn more about the skills and training police officers need to succeed when we return. I'm back at the Prince George's County Police Department near Washington, D.C.
I want to touch upon what you said about being Afghan, an Afghan-American police officer, how in this community with more minorities, it helps you. Does anybody ask you about Afghanistan here?
No, they all think I'm Mexican.
They think you're Latin American from
Latin
another
American.
country.
Yeah, not Afghan.
Do you ever tell them that you're Afghan?
If they ask, I do. But if they don't ask, I don't divulge that information. It's not necessary.
What's their reaction?
They're shocked, actually. They don't believe it. A lot of the Latin Americans come start talking to me in Spanish. I know a little bit of Spanish, so I just mess around with them and talk back to them. But mostly they don't ask there, because they assume that I'm from Latin America.
But you said that your experience being an immigrant at one point, not understanding things, helps you to relate to them?
Yeah. The basic laws of police officers is treat people like you want to be treated. And most people over here who are cops, like I said, they speak one language. And when they go out there and deal with people who don't speak any English, they get very frustrated. So I know that frustration, because I've been on the other side. And they kind of look down upon them, and they're like, "You're in my country, you should speak English." So I had an incident. One officer was a white officer, and he was kind of new, and a gentleman got robbed of like $400 or $500. And he was yelling at the guy because he said, "You don't even speak any English." And he goes, "Go back to your country." So when I got on the scene, I pulled him aside because I was a supervisor. I said, "We're not going to have any of that, because I'm the same way. I'm a foreigner." I said, "You talk to the guy just like your family, somebody was robbed. If he doesn't speak any English, we're going to get the translator to translate."
Yeah, Korean church.
Wow.
We have Korean church, Spanish chicken place, African tire place, bowling alley. So we have everything actually. Spanish deli, bakery. We don't have an Afghan community here at all. Not in where I work. I've never run into any Afghans around here. They're all in Virginia actually. It's like 20 minutes away, but not a big Afghan community.
I want to know, like, what kind of weapons do you carry with you? And, you know, in your car you mentioned you have equipment like radios. What other kind of equipment do you have to prepare for incidents?
We have
here.
Yeah, we have a mace, which is almost it's pepper basically. 10
So that's
times
a
worse.
spray to
That's
protect
a spray.
yourself?
Yeah, you said. We have a taser, which is
What's
an
a
electric
taser?
shot. You get electrocuted almost. 50,000 volts of electricity goes through your body.
So it's a gun, but with an electric charge.
Yeah. It shoots out actually 2 prongs, about 12 feet.
Have you ever had to use that?
Yeah, we used all of them. We have a asp,
What is that?
and it kind of opens up if you wanna,
Are there any times that are busier for you or where there's more crime?
Yeah, Friday, Saturday nights during the summer. I don't think you get time to eat because it gets very busy.
So when people are off,
Well, when it's hot outside and there's no air conditioning inside the house, so everybody's outside. The more people outside, more problems.
so just in an area that could be poor, not have air conditioning, that could actually
That
lead
can
to more
lead to
crime?
crime. Plus, people from different countries living in the same area, like Mexicans don't get along with Salvadorians, and gangs living in the same area. Sometimes blacks don't get along with Hispanic people. So if everybody's outside, always problems.
But have there been any kind of programs to try to build understanding between these communities or to try to help raise awareness that have brought crime down?
Yeah, they do that. That's community policing. We have a special officer that goes to community policing, goes to communities which they have meetings, and the officer gets up and tells them what we're for and what we do and everything. But that still doesn't change, the crime when it comes to a guy wants to sell drugs. I don't care how many community officers you have, and I don't care how many community meetings you have. They're not going to change that.
Do you think that with more education that crime comes down?
Yeah, I would think if they understand it. But that again, education has nothing to do with if your parents don't teach you when you're 2, 3, 4 years old, all the education in the world is not going to do anything. It basically comes from their families.
Well, you can use it.
Do you have a canine?
I don't have a canine.
What is it?
That's handcuffs. Hopefully one day you never see it. Watch out, guys. Let that car go by. Let me get out. Come over here. Where do you guys live?
In terms of the trends here, we talked about the crime level generally, but what are some of the most common crimes that you see in this area?
A lot of robberies. We have a lot of robberies. And basically because we have a lot of drunks in the area. When it comes Friday and Saturday, they get their paychecks Friday night and they're trashed. They get their paycheck around 5, they're drunk by around 7 o'clock. And around 12, 1 o'clock, we had a lot of robberies because by then they're really drunk and people know that they have $500, $600 in their pockets. And there's a lot of guys who get, we had a guy got shot a couple of weeks ago. He got robbed. A lot of stabbings. We have a guy going around with a bat. He sees anybody on a bike late at night, he takes their head off. He basically hits them with a bat across their head. We have a lot of reports like that. No, they take their money. The guy falls off, off the bike and they take their money. But we had a lot of robberies.
What's the saddest thing you've seen?
6-year-old girl getting raped by a 30-year-old guy. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
And how did you handle that situation with the child?
We were the first ones on the scene. You can't really do anything because you have to call. We have a different guys who handle that. They call the sex crimes unit. So they come on the scene and
And is he in jail now?
Yeah, he's still in jail. I was that was a while ago, 5, 6 years ago. And the girl's probably like 13, 14 years old now.
Have you ever been offered any money? Somebody, you try to arrest them, they say, hey, officer, I'm going to give you some money, just don't arrest me. Has that ever happened?
Actually, the one time I got offered a bribe was I stopped this taxi driver. He was speeding. And when he gave me his license, he slipped a 50 under it, and he was trying to give it to me at the same time. And I kind of actually yanked him out of the car, got him out the window, and he got arrested actually for bribing a police officer.
So what could happen to a police officer here in the U.S. if they accepted that bribe and someone found out, their supervisor found out?
Go to jail. Definitely go to jail.
So that it's that serious. Taking the
Oh,
bar
yeah,
can
yeah,
lead
yeah,
the police
without-
officer to become a criminal.
Yeah, there's been a lot of officers who've done stuff like that. There's been a lot of officers, I forget their names, which if they suspect you that you take money, they set you up, and it's happened to other people.
So in the department, they want to know if any officers are
course,
doing
of
that, so they
course.
try to find out if they are.
Of course. Me as a supervisor, as soon as a new guy comes to my squad, the first thing I tell them is, I'll back you up anything you do, but if you do anything illegal and you break the law, I'll be the first one to arrest you. So that's clear.
Do you think that concept here in the U.S. of an officer not being above the law helps to keep order?
95% of the time, yeah. But there's always officers, who break the law, and they should be treated just like the criminals. But most of the officers are, they're good officers. They come away, they do their jobs. But there are, some.
Do you think that respect for the law from the officer themselves makes people respect them more?
I would hope so. I think if you took a bribe, most of the people, the drug dealers or most of the bad guys, they know that you're that kind of officer. They don't respect you that much. But if they know you're straight by the book, they respect you a lot more, and they would be afraid of you, or a lot more than the guy who's taking the bribe.
More on the day-to-day challenges of a police officer's life when we return. I'm back with Wyce Babar, a police officer for a community in the Washington, D.C. area.
If they're being too rowdy, they get handcuffed to those poles. We have a camera right there, so that camera sees them if they do anything.
And how long would a person be held here?
Depends how busy we are. Depends how many prisoners we have. They could be held over here for 2-3 hours, or 7-8 hours, or 9 hours before they go in front of the commissioner.
And do they get to go outside, or they get to
No,
stay
they
here
stay
the whole
here.
time?
The only thing they can use is the bathroom. That's it.
So there's a lot involved when you take
Yeah,
someone and
yeah.
arrest them. What happens after?
Once you arrest a person, basically his safety is on the person officer's hand. Anything happens to that guy, it's on the officer. So if I arrest you and you're like this, I should take you just the same way to a commissioner.
So there's no abuse and hitting
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
You just have to take them through the
Yeah.
process and keep
Yeah.
them safe.
Yeah. Fingerprint them. And
So how does this work? You put
we
their
just
finger.
fingerprint here, or we just do this one. You just go like that, and the right finger.
So each finger gets.
Each finger gets fingerprint. Yeah. Okay, this is area we have all the reports. Anytime any incident occurs, officers have to write a report. Reports to be checked. The supervisors get it from this box, check it, and leave it in this box. Any stolen cars or anything like that, they're here. And any information that you have to exchange with other people, that you leave it here and people look at it.
So really, for everything that happens, there's a lot
There's
of
a report,
reporting.
yeah.